Now we are actually tracking a little behind schedule. So right now we're going to have a special keynote speaker, Mr. Atul Kunwar, founder, managing partner of Blade Capital, and Ganesh Radhakrishnan, CEO of Morphodale Technologies, is going to introduce us. Please welcome Ganesh.
Thanks, Vijay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm proud to introduce Mr. Atul Kunwar, who is a great friend of mine. He is a visionary leader and a successful disruptor in the technology world, having more than 30 plus years of C level experience. He was a global president and a CTO of the fifth largest IT services company, which is Tech Mahindra. Previously, he was at Ambit Pragma and he was at Mahindra Satyam. Also, he was scaling up Aditya Birla BPO into an industry leader through acquisition of Minex and a leading global organization at eFunds, Syntel and HCL. He also credited with ending the Indian government's internet monopoly during his tenure at Mantra Online, and he is a frequent face at global thought leadership events, including World Economic Forum and NASSCOM. Atul also co-chairs NASSCOM Task Force and cybersecurity. As I mentioned, he is a very big disruptor, and now he is into a new venture on a crypto, where he has founded Blade Capital, a venture fund that disrupts the traditional VC model for the quantum era. I would like everyone to put your hands together to welcome Atul.
Good afternoon. Okay, that's fairly okay. So we shall try and put in some more energy into this whole thing. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be invited. Thank you to the organizers for really accommodating me into this thing. I'm actually off one side and onto the other side very recently, though this has been some time in planning. And I'm here representing a bunch of people who are really disruptors and have disrupted various businesses across. So this is in the financial services sector, it's in the healthcare sector, in the internet sector, and IT of course. And now we're trying to see how we can disrupt something that's not been challenged for a very, very long time, but is very critical to the entire theme that is being put together here, which is entrepreneurship. And that is about the traditional models of how funding, etc. happen. In the morning we heard about from Professor Sundararajan about how this is a shared economy and new things are starting to happen and so on and so forth. And everything is based on what consumers and customers are demanding. After all, we're in an age where, as the saying goes, it's not one sunset but three sunsets that happen. Because time's just a dimension that's gone away. Just like in telecom, we no longer pay with distance or by time, but it's all free. Similarly, that's the kind of disruption that we see across all the other businesses. But strangely, the business that funds all these things is the one that's being least disrupted. And that's really what's due for disruption, and that's really what we're trying to do across, and that's why Blade has been set up. Now, Blade, on one hand, is cutting edge, so B-L-A-D-E, but the way we spell it is B-L-A-E-D, which is, in Irish, wealthy glory. So we are trying to create wealth for a lot of people, and glory, because the whole idea is that this is due for disruption, and we are at that cusp where we can do that. So let me take you through really where we are, what we are trying to do across, and give you a context of what's happening across. The first and foremost thing that everyone's talked about and everyone's noticed is that the entire movement of technology and change is very rapid. It's scaled by a factor. You can say 3x, some will say 20x, and so on and so forth, which means that there is a need increasingly for quick raise and quick deployment of capital. So which is different from the traditional models where you'd actually you'd set up a fund, and I've set up funds, and I've raised 150 odd million in those. But in that case, you'd set up a fund which would take 2 to 3 years. So you'd strategize, you'd go to the LPs would fund it, and this is the model that's been going on for the last 25 years. The model also says 220 and a variant thereof and so on and so forth, which all of you may be familiar with if you're looking for funds or if you funded people across. So that's one side of the story. The other side of the story is very interesting, and that is that a lot of people have actually got wealth and are funding in the seed stage and angel stage. So a lot of people in this room must have done that, right? Seed and angel funding, friends, and so on and so forth. Now the challenge there is that while you can do that, the mortality of those firms or those businesses is also very high. So you're taking a punt based on your experience. Sometimes it works, sometimes it won't work across. And once the business goes away from there, that's where the challenge comes across, because when VC funding stage comes across for businesses, there is no way for everyone in this audience, I mean, except those who can write those $3 million and $5 million checks, and I'm sure there are lots of them here, but there are also others who aren't. And you can't participate even though you know what it is. Take the example of something like an Uber today. Everyone knows going to win, right? But except for the first 2 to 3 years, no one has been able to invest except for the largest of VCs. So on one hand, it is not inclusive. On the other hand, it's very clear to us that if you raise a fund in 3 years, technology has moved fast. So you may raise it for AI. 3 years from now, you're actually going to invest in assisted living or assisted technology or something like that. So it may be very different. So that's the reality that's there. So that's one element that needs disruption, and there are thoughts behind doing that. That's where this whole thing started, saying that in technology, how do you create and change the cycle from 3 years, then after that invest in 4 years, then harvest it another 4 years. It's like a 10-year cycle. So you put your money, 10 years later you get to know whether you made something or you didn't make something. Sometimes you make something on the way, but basically you have to wait till the end. And in today's scenario, can you change that and do it in such a way that you can raise and deploy quickly so that you take advantage of the movement that's happening, catch it on the cusp, and thereby increase the entire return for the people who invest? So that was one part. And the second part is how do you include more people into this entire game? So that was the second part that comes across. The other issue that's really relevant in this entire exercise, and if I could have that slide with a couple of the unicorns. How many of you have seen or heard of any of these unicorns? You have, right? How many of you have been able to or have even thought of investing into these? It's tough. It's not possible. So there's a roadblock that comes across on this entire thing. And as a consequence, there is possibly a need to disrupt that model to enable folks who can see that these could be big businesses and can be able to invest across. And Blade's going to attempt to do that. How we're going to do that is something that I just want to talk a little bit about. So that's one part of the situation. The other part of the equation, besides the angle of collecting the money, is in the element of how do you deploy it, where do you deploy it, and how do you create a pipeline so that you should be actually creating a pipeline almost simultaneously with raising of the funds. And that's another big change that's there. Because typically in a fund, you'll actually raise it first and then parallelly you create a pipeline which takes another few years. Because you've got so many years to deploy it. It's 6 years. So you don't need to create it. So that's another fundamental, which is an element of speed that comes into play. And that's the other dimension that needs to be disrupted. So we're looking at being able to raise funds and just in time deploy it, in a way of speaking. So if you're someone who's come up with an idea that needs investment and you've gone beyond an idea which is beyond seed as well as angel, and you're ready for that VC thing, rather than go through a long cycle, we're looking at being able to create the money for that and be able to deploy it in that venture ASAP kind of thing. So that's the second part. The third and a crucial element in this entire thing as we started looking at this problem was that if we want to do this, there is a particular backlash that we're going to face because the industry has been growing in a particular way and the kind of investors are a particular type and the LPs are that type and so on and so forth. So how do you get more people into this field? But you get more people and you can make it more inclusive. I mean, there's examples that galore in terms of crowdfunding, etc. What you see is two things. One is that the quantum of investment that comes in is lesser. So you can't get 5 million per person, but you can maybe get 250,000 or $300,000. The second element is that folks in this arena sometimes want to walk off and not wait for 10 years because they may not have the same horizon. So how do you create something around this? And we were grappling with this problem for quite a while. And then suddenly something hit, and it's a question of an idea whose time's come and has to be done. That's the kind of moment one had, and that's really where it is. So what is this great thought and idea that came across? It's around this whole thing called security token offering. Have you heard of this? STOs? It's the evolution of what started with blockchain and currency, Bitcoin, etc., moved on to the next wave of ICOs and utility, and the future really is about security token offering. So what does the security token offering do? So you have a fund. Against that fund, you actually issue tokens. So this is not about saying you're issuing Bitcoins. This is about saying you're issuing tokens linked to that fund. So for want of a word, or just to make it simple, let me call them Blade Coins for a minute. So you issue Blade Coins, which are in some form a unit of holding. So you can have so many Blade Coins, or you can have more. You can trade Blade Coins. So there's tradability that comes across. And you can actually divide them also, which is another thing that you can never do with shares of companies. So there's a third method to do this. And all these characteristics point to this is the future of how funding, etc., is going to start happening. Now this is just the cusp and the start. Very soon you'll see that maybe I'm not talking about 5 months or 6 months, but maybe a question of maybe 2 years or 3 years. This is going to start becoming the dominant way, because it gives you 2-3 elements. On one hand, the value of the coin which you trade is now linked with something to do with the value of the assets underlying, plus an angle of some assumptions that may be there, as well as some aspirations that come across. So it's to some extent it is going to be in terms of what you see the future. Different people will see differently, and there is an NAV kind of a thing of the underlying assets which give it. You with me till now?
Yeah.
So fundamentally, what you're saying is that you're really creating, in a way of speaking, and in a very simplistic but not an accurate way, but simplistic way, like what you have in mutual funds. So you can walk in and out of mutual funds. There is an asset that's underlying that, and that's the equivalent of what's going to come across in the private equity and the venture capital business. It's a bet, it's a belief, and it's something that we think whose time has come across at that point. And so we are setting this up, the first fund of Blade, and we are doing it for technology because we're technology experts. But as we go forward, our aim is that we should be able to raise it for maybe different purposes with different people across. So you can have segments from which you can raise the funds. So for instance, you could actually raise funds from this entire August gathering to invest only in ventures that are done by people who, for whatever ways you want to classify, could be Tamils, right? So you could even do that, or they could be by some institution and so on and so forth. So you could be very specific, you could be very broad, you could be small, you could be big, you could operate with an angle of convertibility, or you can operate with tradability and so on and so forth. So that's the future, and that's what we're trying to set out when we're setting up Blade. So it's a journey that we're beginning, and I'm really looking forward to more participation on this. It's going to be more participative. That's where the angle of the customer comes in. So on one hand, the investor customer, on the other hand, the companies to whom we want to give this money also, the same angle comes across. So we are trying to make it more customer oriented, more sharing, economy oriented, and hopefully we'll be able to make a major mark and get to what Blade is setting out to do. So I really thank everyone for giving us this opportunity. I know it's a brief one, but hopefully it will catch up some time. And with a request that you must, Blade or no Blade, do keep this thought and idea in your mind, because this is the future and you're getting a preview of it. Let's hope that we can all prosper and make a lot of money as a consequence of that work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Atul. And I request Ram Nagapin to come up and give him a plaque of appreciation for coming out here.
Thank you, that was good.